the whole of Russia was shocked, because the Russian government itself released the classified information when they encountered an alien several decades ago. When did this happen, and how did they encounter it? Before we start our story, if you are new to this channel, don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to like this video, so that you are always updated with life-amazing stories. In July 2009, the Russian government released classified information, which the Russian Navy had counteracted by what they called a U.F.O, or unidentified submersible object. These are the inexplicable objects that are under the ocean. When they are in heaven, they call it U.F.O. What the Russian government released was about extraterrestrials they saw in the ocean. Our first question is, what did they see? In 1975, submarine commander Yuri Beketov, with his crew traveled to the South Pacific. They are at the very bottom of the ocean. At first, they had no problem, but a few minutes later, their sonar sounded. Because it has to detect unexplained objects, which move fast. Case their problem, this object is going in their direction. The commander checked these objects in sonar. What their sonar absorbs is 6 objects, then their position is triangular position. They wonder why these objects function so fast, even though they are still under the sea. At that time, they had never seen a submarine with such technology that could move fast under the sea, which you thought were just jets in the sky. The commander was so nervous that they might collide, so he ordered his crew to slow down. But they were surprised because these 6 objects did the same. They also slowed down the function, as if they were imitating. Let's remember that these crews in nuclear submarines are highly trained military personnel. So, when they say that they have only just encountered such things, there is really no such technology at that time. To the great fear of the crew and the commander, for they thought that it was the enemy that they intended to attack. So, he ordered to rise to the surface of the sea first, so the crews hurried and raised the submarine. When the submarine took off, the ensuing events surprised them even more. As the commander and crew peered through the telescope, they saw 6 objects emerge from the sea, and then float in the air. Then a few seconds passed. These 6 objects moved away quickly. They could not believe what had happened. Many questions were running through their minds. They asked if they were the enemy, why did they run away, what were they doing under the sea? What is their technology, and why they move fast under the ocean and then fly it fast? Those are in their minds. They reported it to the Russian government, who just told them never to tell anyone and that it was classified information. But Russia has already taken steps to do underwater exploration, to find out what's in it. But one of the standing feathers, which Russia encounters is not a spaceship, but alien creatures. In 1982, on Lake Baikal in Siberia, Lake Baikal was the deepest freshwater lake in the world. With a depth of 1,600 meters, the Russian Navy conducted a research mission on this lake. At that time, Lake Baikal, the surface was frozen, so the water was a bit cold at that time. What they didn't know was that they would be shocked by what they witnessed when 7 Russian divers dived. At first nothing strange happened, but when they were at a depth of 50 meters, they noticed, as if someone was watching them. A colleague of theirs was touching them. They were wondering why this diver was so scared, so when they turned around to look at the diver, they were all shocked, because they saw 6 large human-like creatures. But they noticed that they were not hit. They also had no scuba equipment, or even oxygen that could support its breathing. Its fingers are long and its eyes and helmet seem to glow. Then they don't seem to get cold even though the lake is freezing. Russia's classified documents say, made by 7 Russian divers, they attempted to capture one of these creatures. As the divers approached them, a creature suddenly laid his hand on the divers. And suddenly a strong force came out, which seemed to explode and pushed them up and back on the surface of Lake Baikal. The rest of their companions were startled and the 7 divers jumped out onto the surface of the lake. The case became the problem of divers. As they lifted too fast from the bottom of the lake, they suffered from decompression sickness. It was dangerous and deadly. So, 4 of the 7 divers died quickly, and 2 were taken to the hospital and also died. Only 1 survived. When the survivor was interviewed, what happened at the bottom of Lake Baikal, he was too scared to tell what happened. Those who are capable of this are extraterrestrials from another world. What is their technology? Why is their sweet like that and they can still breathe under the lake? Experts think that these creatures are just defending what the divers will do. They have no intention of hurting them. When they saw the net being held by divers as if to catch them, they just defended themselves. The Russian government has banned the survivor diver from speaking. He was told not to spread what they had witnessed. What do you think? Why did the Russian government hide it? Do you think Russia conducted an in-depth investigation into Lake Baikal, and they discovered something and then hid it from the whole world? We don't know. But one thing is for sure, the Russians have known about extraterrestrials over time. In 1970, in the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Dmegovsky, the chief of the Pacific's Fleeting Intelligence Department, conducted military exercises. They were on 3 ships, sailing at the Pacific Ocean. At first, there was nothing strange in the ocean and the sun was just normal. They were doing their normal routine as Navy personnel. But while they were busy, they were surprised, because their sonars sounded. They saw on the sonar that there was an object approaching them. So, the Navy ran outside to see what these objects were. They saw nothing. But a few seconds later, they were all surprised, because an oblong spacecraft appeared in the distance. Their commander was stunned, because only now he saw something like that. He estimated that this spacecraft was 800 or 900 meters long. It also had lights that seemed to illuminate. Later, it moved slowly, and then small spacecraft appeared. In the commander's description, it was like bees coming out of their burrow. The small spacecraft went straight under the sea. They looked at what they would do at sea. But to their great surprise, when it came out of the sea again and returned to the big spaceship, then the big spacecraft quickly left. All this happened in just 5 minutes, so they thought an enemy would attack them. But a few hours later, nothing happened. The commander immediately reported it to the Russian government. Here they were told not to spread whatever they saw. Many experts say they suspect that extraterrestrials have a secret base at the bottom of the ocean. Because almost 60% of UFO encounters occur above the sea or under the ocean. As they say, there has been more exploration on the moon than in the very bottom of the ocean. 70% of our world is made up of water and only 30% of its land. Did it ever cross your mind that there might be a civilization in the depths of the ocean? Comment your answer so I can read. Next video, we have many more such stories that are actually documented by governments. But for now, let's just get here first and let's talk again in our next video. Thank you for watching.